Hello, FlossTube. This is scienceknitster, or Deb, or Deborah. Welcome back. Today is Thursday, June 15th, 2023, and I am back after approximately a month since my last recording. Excuse me. This one shouldn't be as long as the last one. We'll see. Because I don't have a ton of, different things to show you, but as I was getting it together, it was more than I expected. So tonight, I'm drinking some iced tea that I brewed from one of my favorite teas, or actually my favorite tea, Stash's Super Irish Breakfast. I got used to drinking sweet tea when I lived in Georgia, when I was working on my PhD. And I still prefer my iced tea sweetened, but nowadays, in order to cut down on the sugar that I consume, I sweeten it with stevia. So I just had some store brand stevia that I put in when I poured it into my cold cup. Normally I also have water, but I figured this iced tea would be enough. Okay, so tonight I have some, actually let me start with a finish. This was a piece that was almost finished last time. It is Stitching with the Housewives Sunflower Farm that I have personalized, and I have sort of fully finished it. I'll tell you about that in a second. But here it is. So I personalized it to make it more, to make it so that it was for my husband's farm. So my spouse is a flower farmer who also grows vegetables, and the last couple of years he's also been growing loofah and making soap out of it. So anyway, although his main crop is still sunflowers, hence why I wanted to use this sunflower farm for a little plaque for him. So this is a Sudbury House trivet. And I have, in addition to personalizing this, I have changed some of the colors. I talked about it a little bit in my last video. The original is on a black or chalkboard background. So I changed some of the colors so that they would pop a little bit more on this. This is Mountain Air 14 count Ada in the color Arctic Ice. And so I changed, the truck was white. I changed it black to black because we have a black Nissan Frontier. That doesn't look like a Nissan Frontier, but it's closer than a white truck would have been. And then I changed the color of the main yellow for the sunflowers to something that looked more sunflower-y to me, at least closer to one of the main varieties of sunflowers that my spouse grows. So there it is for you. Let me see if I can, sorry for the glare. I already have it in the trivet. I haven't laced the back. It has these Phillips head screws, so it's pretty sturdy. Just still trying to decide exactly how I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to go ahead. I just wanted to do something quick so I could show it. I think I'm going to actually put some batting underneath this to fill it out a little bit, because the board that came with it that you're supposed to, well, they say glue, but I'm not going to glue, I'm going to lace. It seems to be a tiny bit small, so I guess they were thinking you might have a thicker fabric to put around the board. So I'm gonna add some batting. Was one of the things in the instructions. It said you might want to add some batting and see if that fills it out a little bit more, because it's okay in the bottom, but you probably can't see, but up here it looks like it's not quite filled in. So I was hoping this would stand by itself, but it doesn't. So I might see if I can get like a little easel to put it on, so my spouse can actually have it with him at markets. But we'll see. He might decide he doesn't want to do that. Okay. Yeah. So this is what it is. It's a Sudbury House needlework trivet. Okay, so that's my fully finish. I have several new starts, 2 to be exact. Actually, let me double check that I haven't forgotten one. Okay, yeah, so that was my... Oh, actually, I had one new start since my last FlossTube, and that is the Festive Cardinal by Pigeon Coop Designs. He's a Canadian designer, and if I remember correctly, he's in Vancouver. I forget, but he's Canadian and in Canada. So when this came out last year, I think, I went ahead and bought the full kit. I get his newsletter, so I was actually able to purchase this, I think, before it, for some of his things that come out, he'll have the kits available for newsletter subscribers before they release, like a day or two before they release to the general public. So that's what it is, and I am using the kit. So here are the flosses. It's all DMC, and this is as far, oops. Let's see if this will work better. This is, I was washing it out a little, that's a little bit better. Oh, how about that? So this is how far I've gotten. So making some headway. I started this on June 1st for Colorado Cross Stitchers summer stitch camp. Stitch camp? I forget. I should have checked that out before I got on here. Okay. So that's my new start. I'm not sure if I'm going to try to finish it before the end of the month. It just, I think I mentioned in my last FlossTube, I'm very much in a stitch what you want, when you want mood lately. So I may or may not finish that. I'd like to. It just depends on when I'm in the mood for stitching. Okay, so oops, I don't want things to get separated, so let me put this back. So okay, oops. Okay, so progress. Let me show you some things I stitched on in the last month. So I showed this in my last FlossTube. This is with my needles. Quaker Hornbooks. I am stitching the over 2. Sorry, this one, the over 2 and 36 count. The alphabet on this is over 1, and as you will see, that is pretty much the only thing I have left, except for the specialty stitches in the corner. I really need to have this done by the end of the month, or early next month, because I think, if I remember correctly, so this is a summer project we're doing at the Tudor Rose Sampler Guild, and I think in July we're supposed to have a little thing on the finishing, I think. Anyway, so let me show you my progress. As I said, I pretty much have everything except the alphabet and those corner specialty stitches. So I'm using Belle Soie Mer Bleu, and I'm stitching it on a 36 count hand dyed linen from my stash. Oops, upside down. Okay, so here it is. So basically I just have the alphabet to do. I started the alphabet, but I seem to not like stitching over one except on Lugana. I'm actually contemplating, instead of putting in the alphabet as called for in the chart, of subbing in some additional Quaker motifs on the edges, but I'm gonna try to do the alphabet. Just need to get in the right frame of mind. Part of the problem is I'm never happy with how the stitches look. Okay, so that's that one. It's Quaker Hornbook. And then, let's see. One thing I worked on a bit last month. I ended up getting this out and making some progress on Rose Ada Featherstone. It's actually worked on it quite a bit last month, before we left on a trip to visit family and for me to attend my college reunion. So this was a limited edition exclusive through Hobby House Needleworks. Let's see if I can get this in there we go. And so I'm using, they had an option for an overdye conversion. So it's the Hands Across the Sea, as you saw from the chart. And this, the fabric is 40 count antique lace. I think that's Seraphim, if I remember correctly. I could look it up, but I'm not going to take the time. So here are the flosses. So oops. Let's see, let's do it this way. So I can't remember if I had shown this in my last one. Did I work on it before the last one? Last time I recorded? No, I had not. So I didn't pick this up until my last recording, after my last recording. So I got the tree in and the angels, and filled in a little bit more on the border. I need to get more of the border in. Then I started putting in the ship over here. So one goal is to finish this sometime this year. So yeah, I worked on this for several days, except when I worked on the Hornbook a couple of days and then finished up the Sunflower Farm. Okay. And then I'm also, you might recall from my last FlossTube, I'm also working on an, oops, that's something I need to show in a little bit. Okay. I'm working on another Hands Across the Sea hat sampler. And I've made quite a bit of progress on that. Let's see. So I am using the DMC. I'm stitching it on some 36 count ballet slipper. It's a ballet slipper or slippers by Fox and Rabbit that I had in my stash. So I've got the border, the outline of the border in, so I still need to do some of the, both on the bottom and this side, finish putting in the outline of the flowers. I got finished putting in this tree, started working on this over here. I think since the last time I got more of the motifs up top in, and the chimneys. I'm just putting this in, and then I've also got the mortar in between the bricks to do, as well as a whole grassy area down here. So I'm kind of, you know, doing easy stuff like that in between, you know, getting in border stuff and the few more motifs that I need to do. And then it's just basically fill in. So one of the things, and I'll show a couple others that I purchased. I purchased this thread keep bling from Socks for Mom. So this is the one for Jane Hardy. I forgot to say this is Jane Hardy. So you can get an idea of what it actually looks like. So I don't have the booklet for this. I have this as PDF. I really like stitching from my phone or my iPad when I can, because especially designers that have single page, you know, for using on a digital device or electronic device, because then my brain doesn't have to fool with matching up pages, which after a long day of work sometimes can be a little too much thought than one wants to do. Okay, so I'm kind of off my one small sampler a month. This one was a little bit bigger than the ones I had been doing. And oh, I forgot to mention, I actually had a huge issue. I accidentally, when I was cutting some threads over here, I accidentally cut a hole in the linen, but I used, okay, so this is probably one of those times where it was to my advantage that I did not zigzag the edges, because I just pulled some of the linen threads off the side and the bottom, and then I used that to like weave a little repair. I don't, if you look really close, you can see this is my first time trying to do something like that. So if you ever, and there are, I did find some stuff on YouTube, but I didn't take the time to watch it. But excuse me, if you do ever accidentally cut a hole in your linen, don't think you have to start all over. I mean, I had a bunch of this done already. I didn't have all this quite done. I was working over here, but I went ahead and, you know, weave something, and then I went ahead and finished this and put this in just so I would have it done and stabilized, and it seemed to work. And I think once this is all done, you know, unless you look at this really, really closely, and once it's framed under glass, it'll probably be a little bit harder to see. Unless you know it's there, you might not even notice it, is what I'm thinking. And for the first time trying a repair like that, I think I did okay. Next time, hopefully there won't be a next time, but if there ever is a next time, it may go a little more smoothly. Okay, that's Jane Hardy. And then near the end of the month of May, we left on a trip. We went to visit my spouse's family in Erie, Pennsylvania, and then I went to upstate New York to go to my 40th college reunion at Wells College and in the Finger Lakes. Had a wonderful time catching up with some of my classmates, and actually a few people in classes ahead of us were involved in, you know, alumni things, were also there. And I had started working on this Finger Lakes sampler by one of my favorite designers, Bright Needle. This was a pass along gift from Abby Bellastitch. Thank you so much, Abby. And I am personalizing this. I didn't have a lot of the colors that are in the chart, so I just kind of did my own based on this picture. And I personalized it since Wells is in the Finger Lakes, and although the school colors are red and black, one of the traditions of the college is something called odd even, depending on whether you're going to graduate in an odd year or an even year. And so they call it odd line and even line, and I'm an odd line, obviously, because I graduated in '83. And the odd line colors are purple and yellow. So I put Wells 83 in purple and yellow. And I also started putting in this motif down here so I could count down to the house, so I could get started down here. So right in here, it's all satin stitch. So I'm working on this hill right now. There we go. That's a little bit better. This is 37 count corn silk by Legacy Linen. And I'm using a bunch of overdyes. As I mentioned, I just tried to find, if I didn't have the called for color, and I didn't have a lot of them, I chose some stuff from my stash that looked approximately what I could see in the photo, as well as things that looked good together. So that's where I'm at. My goal is to finish this this year. Actually, my original goal was to finish it before I went to reunion. That obviously didn't happen. But I did get some work done on it, both while I was at the college, as well as while I was at my in-laws. Okay. So I hope to make some progress on that one this month also. Depends on what I feel like working on. So I worked on that some in June, as well as the Cardinal, and then Jane Hardy, which I've already shown you. Okay, so I think I've shown you everything that I've worked on since my last FlossTube. But I have a few things to show you in terms of stash enhancement. So I've already shown you one of the thread keep blingy things. Let me see what she calls them. That I got from Becky, Socks for Mom. And she's Socks for Mom on Etsy and Instagram. Yeah, she calls it a thread keep. And then I also got thread keeps for Hannah Campbell. This is actually a thread keep / scissor fob, so it's got a much smaller ring. So if I actually decide to use this for thread, I may either switch out the ring or just put this on the ring. These are very well made, very sturdy, and very pretty. Okay, so she doesn't have, at least the style that I bought, doesn't have, you know, like all the extra crystals and doodads on it that you might see for some. But I think for what I want, this is perfect. Okay, so that's Hannah Campbell. And then the other one that I got, and you'll see why I bought Hannah Campbell in a moment. This actually came while I was gone. A few things came in the mail while I was gone. And then this is Jane Hopkins, which I started Can't remember if I started Christmas Day or Boxing Day. So all three of these are Hands Across the Sea sampler. So I need to put, I haven't put this in with my Start of Jane because I wanted to show it. She came nicely packaged. These little mesh bag, and it was in a nice little padded envelope, along with the list of what I had purchased, which is always nice. Okay, so I'll just put that over there. So what else? I don't think this had come yet before my last FlossTube, but I can't remember, so I'm going to show it anyway. So if I showed it last time and you're a returning viewer, please forgive me. So this is Hands Across the Sea, Hannah Campbell, 1838. It's an Irish sampler. And I bought this from Traditional Stitches in Canada. I like to buy from them because they often have lakeside linen. And this one, I believe the model was stitched on this vintage sand dune by Lakeside Linens. I bought the 40 count. I think, if I remember correctly, I don't remember what this is in the way. I'm not sure if it says what count it was stitched on. I think it was 46, or it might even been a higher count. I don't remember. I don't see it on here, and I don't want to open this and get... The model was stitched using... No, it doesn't say what count. And I don't remember. I think Nicola said when she introduced this on her FlossTube, but anyway. So, I don't know. There's a stitch along going on right now for this, and I don't remember if I think there's a Facebook group, but I'm not sure I'm going to actually stitch it anytime soon. I'm planning to use DMC, or I might do an overdye conversion. The hard thing is there's some over one in here, so I need to decide what I'm going to do about that. And I think, can't remember if this here is over one or not. But it's very pretty. I love the colors. It's not coming across quite, it's very colorful, not quite as colorful as Jane Hardy, but fairly colorful. So yeah, I have some, let's just say I have lost count of how many hat samplers I have going. So it's like, do I really want to start another one? Okay, I'm gonna put my bling in here. I love a little bling. Oops. Forgot to put the linen back in its bag. That says what it is and what it's for, just in case these become separated. Yeah, so I had ordered this a while ago, and I'm pretty sure it hadn't come yet in my last FlossTube, but I don't remember, so I'm showing it anyway. Okay, so the exciting thing is I mentioned that I had to drive from Western Pennsylvania, Erie to be exact, to the Finger Lakes of upstate New York. And according to both my iPhone and our Garmin Nuvi, the fastest way was to take the New York Thruway. And that would get me in close proximity to, outside of Rochester, New York, Pittsford, New York, to be exact, the home of Hobby House Needleworks. So, you know, I left Erie in time to stop at Hobby House, and I did. They were very nice. I had some, I was looking mainly for linen, because I wanted to see some of it in person. They have a ton of linen, let's just say. They had quite a bit of R&R reproductions of all like different flavors. So I got several. And I'm going to show you 3. There's a 4th one I bought, but it goes along with another purchase that I made there. So I tried to not go too totally nutsoid. And I did until I decided one last thing that I will tell you about in a minute. Okay, so first one here, this is 36 count black 18th century Blackbird. I bought this to because if I remember correctly, it is the called for, or at least the color is what's called for a older Blackbird design that was published in a needlework magazine. I believe it was just cross stitch. I have the chart. I had pulled it. I got that magazine and I pulled it out. And I have seen it within the last year. So I know I still have it. I just have to remember what box I put it in when I moved back to Corpus Christi from Brownsville. So that's number 1. Number 2 is American Chestnuts, and these are all fat 8s. Again, I was trying not to go too horribly crazy. R&R reproduction, American Chestnut, 36 count. So this is, I decided I did like the color. I thought it would be nice for a sampler. And it's one that I know Laura and Brenda have talked about on Brenda and the Cereal Starter. They've mentioned this one. I think Laura has used it, chosen it for several projects she's talked about over the last couple years. And then the 3rd one is a 40 count espresso linen, also R&R reproduction. Again, I thought this would be nice for a sampler. So the spouse of the shop owner, he was in there, and he actually, the 4th piece of linen I bought is for a project that I'm going to show you in a second. He even serged the edges while I was, because I had to ask him, actually I had asked him, I couldn't find the 4th linen, the one that went with the, it was called for a chart that I had picked out. And he said they actually had some in the count that I wanted, 36 count, which is actually the called for. I prefer to stitch on 36 or 40. Anyway, he asked if I would like the edges serged. Well, you think I was going to say no? Of course not. I had time. I didn't have to be anywhere anytime quickly. So I also bought a couple of charts. This is one I'd been wanting to get for a while. It was the cover of, was it the 2021 or 2022 Needlework Press Book of Days. So this is a Needlework Press, Sarah Gerard, 1825. So at some point I'm going to stitch this one. Don't ask me when, but I really like the colors. I've been into the really colorful samplers this year, but I also like these more muted samplers. So this kind of reminds me a little bit, probably because of the roses in the border, of Martha Dawson. More muted pinks, greens. Anyway, looking forward to this one. This one is It's got the DMC conversion, but it's charted for classic colorworks. Then I saw this Red Bird Sampler by Brenda Gervais with thy needle and thread. It's a reproduction that she did. This is copyrighted 2021. I'm sure I saw it when it came out and said, oh, I need to do that. But somehow never bought it. So here it is. It calls for 36 count Patriots Brew by R&R Reproduction. And again, I couldn't find it in the R&R stack. So I asked, and I can't remember his name, but I asked the gentleman that was there, what would he substitute? And he's like, oh, I think we have some of that. And they did. And so he cut me a piece and then serged the edges for me, as well as actually, I think some of the cuts that I had didn't have all the edges serged. So he serged all the edges. It was like, yay. No, I don't have to do it. I tend not to do that. I had my phone with me and checked my X-Stitch app so I knew which colors I already had. So it calls for a mixture of overdyes and DMC. Remember correctly, the red is DMC. Yeah, the reds of the birds is DMC. So I checked which colors I didn't have and went ahead and bought the classic color works and weeks dye works that I didn't already have in my stash. And so you might think, wow, that's not too bad. But after we had already left for Pennsylvania, so we flew into Pennsylvania several days before I needed to drive over to New York for my college reunion. In fact, it was the day before I was due to leave, or maybe 2 days before. We got an email saying, oh, these are some things you should think about bringing. And one of them was a light for reading and whatnot. And I wanted to do some stitching because I was staying at the dorm. Let me just preface that. I was staying at the dorm, and excuse me, I just remembered that I forgot to put this in my pile of things to show. Fortunately, it was very handy. So, if you watch Nicola Parkman, you may know she recently has been raving about this thing called the zigzag lamp and mentioned that although it was made in the UK and you could get it like on Amazon in the UK, in the US, until recently, the only place you could get it was Hobby House Needleworks. I think if I remember correctly, she said the Attic has them now too. So, it's like, I'll just ask. And let's just say I purchased one and I was very glad that I did, because even reading anything except my Kindle would have been hard at night without this lamp. So you charge it up. In fact, I don't have the cord with it. The cord is actually in I have a little Vera Bradley makeup bag that I keep my must-have cords when I travel. So the cord for this is already in there. But, and it plugs into the other end. So it's USB-C is this end, and then the other end is USB. So if you already have plugs that take USB, easy peasy. And it lasts several hours. And you can always, I was able to, like when I wanted to just like sit on my bed and have this near me, I could actually keep it plugged in. The electrical outlet was close enough. So this came in very handy, and I think it will come in handy when I travel. I just stuck it in I use a backpack that I keep like my iPad and laptop and stuff like that when I travel, and this just fit right in there. No issues getting it through security or anything, so that worked out really well. Okay, so what else? Yes, I have more. So this won't be as long as last time, but it still will be pretty long. So if you're in, what's the group on Facebook? There's a group on Facebook that, is it Homespun Needlework, I think? Where the person that runs the group, so it's a private group, you have to ask to join. The person that runs the group does kits with different designers and shops. And the one that went up for sale in, I think it was April, was this design by Whilst Iris Naps, Mary Gibson, 1828. And generally, because you have to buy the whole kit, I don't generally buy the kits. But I like to look and see, what's going to be coming, because although it's exclusive to the group for like a year or so, eventually most of these come out. But I decided to go ahead because this was so pretty. I decided to go ahead and get this one. So this came while I was away. In fact, I think it came like right after I left. We had somebody feeding our cat and checking our mail. So I got the whole kit. And so this is the linen. Thornfield by Needle and Flax. And let's see. I already put all the floss. So this is the called for Weeks Dye Works. And there was a Mini McBee Fippery. So it's got the house and some more bling. Also very well made and sturdy. So, excuse me. So I decided to go ahead and get this kit. The group, I think, is going to have a stitch along, and I probably will go ahead and start it. The floss actually came in this little cloth bag, but I went ahead and put it on a ring and then put the little scissor fobby thing, thread keep thingy on the bigger ring. And I've already put it in a project bag. And my friend Susan has made me some more little thread beds. So one of them is going to go in this project. And I don't know if I will finish it with the rest of the group, but I will at least start along. Again, really pretty, colorful sampler. Hopefully the sun's not totally washing that out. Got the drape open. So the sun is shining in here. So that was exciting. And oops. Sorry about that. I need to put, that's my first Needle and Flax. Trying to think. I think, was it Martha Evans, the one that everybody started for Brenda Sampler Stitcher's birthday. I think it was Martha Evans. Anyway, if I remember correctly, that one was on a Needle and Flax, and when I went to buy some, I couldn't, nobody had it in stock because I was a little late to the party. So anyway, so I'm excited to try that and see what I think. The model was stitched on 36 count, and if I remember correctly, Oh, I don't remember why, but I decided to get the 40 count instead of 36. Or maybe she said, I don't remember what it was stitched on now. I'm not going to say. It's either 36 or 40, and I decided to get the 40. Oh, it might have been because it would be a little bit smaller. Maybe. Then Pigeon Coop had come out with a new design called Moonlit Cove that I thought was really pretty. Those are whales' tails. And it's oval. And so I decided to go ahead and get the kit so I didn't have to source the oval hoop. It seemed very well made. His packaging is always very nice. Very eco-friendly. So I got the whole kit. So it comes with a blue Ada and then some DNC floss. I'm not sure when I will stitch this, but I thought it was pretty. So it actually comes, like this, and it's in or actually, yeah, and it was in a slightly larger envelope. I think it was padded, but still paper. In addition, when I ordered that, I also ordered a PDF, actually a couple PDFs. Sorry, it's taking longer to open than I thought it would. So this is Flower Fun that I think came out earlier this year or late last year, that I've been meaning to get. So I just got the PDF of that one. So I have plenty of white Ada, or if I want to, I could stitch it on a Lugana or even a linen, which I may do. And then the other one I got was one called Muskoka Morning, which is little landscape with a Muskoka, or you might think of it as an Adirondack chair. My spouse's family is originally, or part of it, his dad's side, his paternal grandfather is originally from Canada, and at one point the family owned some hotels up on the Georgian Bay, Muskoka area, so they had chairs like that. So I thought it would be nice. I think I'm gonna stitch this for my mother-in-law. Do it on a dark fabric, because that's the point. Do it on dark fabric, and then all this here doesn't have to be filled in. So this is not full coverage. And then I don't think I've ever shown this. When I purchased the Festive Cardinal, I also purchased another PDF called Winding River. I just think that's really pretty. So a lot of Pigeon Coop stuff, very nature oriented, and I encourage you to check them out. Okay, what else? I think I mentioned last time I had joined the Caterpillar Club, box club, so I could get the, March? The March box. I think these supposed to come out quarterly, so I guess maybe March box, which was a Barbara Anna design, and I had intended to suspend my subscription at that point, but I didn't. I forgot, so I did after this one. I do like her stuff. I just here we go. have a lot of her stuff that I haven't stitched yet. So, but these boxes are different designers. This one is called Ocean Wonder, and I forget who the designer is. Doesn't say on the back. It probably says on the chart. But it's a kit. You know, so in these box kits, she's been putting the flosses on these nice cards. So it came with a pale blue Ada 14 count. A nice chart. And this hoop, again, very well made. Then there was a little washi tape with sea creatures. And then I cannot show you because I already ate it. There was a chocolate lollipop. I had to put it in the fridge when it came. We were actually here when this came. We had gotten back already. But it's now regularly mid-90s during the day here. So let's just say the chocolate lollipop was very melty, so I stuck it in the fridge before I ate, and then ate it later in the day. It was my dessert that day. Okay. Let me finish talking about stitching stuff, and then I've got a couple other things I want to talk about just briefly because we're closing in on an hour. Amazing. So, as I mentioned, I am stitching the Festive Cardinal by Pigeon Coop for Colorado Cross Stitches Stitch Camp. Anyway, the Summer Stitch Camp. So in June, the theme is birds, something with a bird in it. The July theme is something that grows. So it could be more birds, which is what I'm thinking. I've been thinking about this a little bit. I really want to also do some Christmas in July stuff. And so I'm thinking about a couple of things. Both of them by Luminous Fiber Arts. This one is Feliz Navidad. No, actually, well, it could be this one, but I'm actually, the one I'm thinking about even more, is in the same thing, is, I think she's released this herself. But it was originally published in Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher, the Christmas Winter 2020. And this is a tufted titmouse. And I think this is supposed to be a poinsettia. It's called Comfort and Joy. And I've been wanting to stitch this for frickin' forever, and I just haven't done it. So I've been thinking about doing this or that Feliz Navidad, which I've had probably almost as long. If I stitch this one, I'm trying to remember what the called for fabric is. 40 count sparrow, which is one that she dyes herself, but I have to look and see if I have a piece of 40 count sparrow. I think I do. I know I bought one. It's just whether I've already used it for something else, which I think I have. If so, then I'm probably going to use some vintage country makeup. In addition, I'm also thinking about this one, also by Luminous Fiber Arts, Cardinals Carol. So those of you that are longtime viewers might recall that last year I stitched 3 of her other birds, Bluebird's Robin's Discovery, which is the Easter one. And then, first I did Be Mine, or a Bluebird's Message, which was the Valentine. And then the 4th of July one. So I've been stitching them all on this piece of 40 count porcelain, which also dyed by Luminous Fiber Arts. So I have a space for another one, and I've been toying with, do I want to do the Christmas one or do I want to do a fall one? And I think I have them all now, either as PDF or the actual thing. Anyway, so I might do a Cardinal's Carol instead. But tufted titmouse is my favorite bird. It's tough. It's tough. And then on top of that, where's my Kindle? Misty Purcell of Luminous Fiber Arts is doing another Christmas mystery. And I know I said in the last recording, my last FlossTube, that really wasn't that into mysteries. But this mystery is going to have sort of like separate little pieces. So let's see. Where'd it go? Sorry. So it's called Merry Greetings. And if you purchase, the first clue will come out July 1st, so I could start it. But this is the outline. And so what I was thinking is maybe I would do these separately. And so like the first one, they're all going to be, well, I guess they'll come out 2 at a time. So I'll choose one of them and maybe do that. Unless I decide I do want to do them all together. Haven't decided. But yeah, there it is. And let's see. Misty recently released a new FlossTube where she talks about this. When I checked this morning, so I also get her newsletter, so I knew about it, and I'd kind of decided I didn't want to get a kit, and I wasn't sure if I was going to buy the chart or not. I did decide to buy the chart, and so did my friend, my BFF Susan. So we're gonna go in our stash, but it was a good thing I decided not to buy the kit, because when I went back this morning to buy the chart, the only kits she had left were the 18 count Ada. And there's nothing wrong with 18 count Ada. It's just I really like her linens. So if I bought a kit, I most likely would have stitched it on 36 or 40 count linen. Again, that's she used Sparrow, her own color, but depending on what I have in my stash of Sparrow, I may use that, or I may use, I know I have some vintage country mocha that I may use instead. And for that one, I need to look and see if I have all the called for overdyes. If not, I'll probably just sub the DMC, because I have plenty of that on hand, and I've been purchasing too many things lately. Okay, so that's it for the stitching stuff. I did do some knitting the last couple of months, and I keep forgetting to show it. So I'm almost done with these socks, and I was very tempted to finish them while I was away, because it was freaking cold in Pennsylvania and upstate New York. There were mornings when the temperature was like 47 or 49 degrees Fahrenheit. Yes. So I just need to do a couple of more decreases on the toes and then Kitchener stitch them. These are Dottie socks by Irish Girly Knits. In a, the yarn is, I always forget what the exact name of this yarn is. Divine. The color is Bobbin's Nest Blue, and it's by my favorite dyer, indie dyer hazelnuts. These are, you can't, I don't think you can get this color anymore. So actually, that's coming across a little bit darker than real life, but fairly close. So this Divine is a merino cashmere silk blend. Normally I would do socks in a merino nylon blend. She has one called Artisan Sock. But I thought the silk would help strengthen it, and I really like this color. And I already have a shawl that I think by a different designer, or it might have been through Irish Girly Knits, I can't remember, and using this same yarn, and I like to be matchy-matchy. So I do have a few pairs of hand knit socks that match shawls, or at least coordinate. So I probably will finish that this month. I did actually work on this while I was away at my college reunion, because they had a fiber group that met up on the first full day of reunion. So that was kind of nice. And they have a, there's an alumni group. Actually, yeah, it's an alumni group. There might be some students in it too, but I think it's all alumni. And part of what they do is knit things like hats and blankets, and knit or crochet blankets and other things for the students, and hats, mitts, mittens, gloves. So I may knit some hats. Just need to look in my stash and see what would be good. It will not be hard to find something, let's just say. And knit up some hats to send this fall, so students have something warm to wear when it gets cold again. So for my Yankee friends, okay, yes, I am a Yankee too. For my Yankee friends that live in Yankee Land, the mornings didn't seem that cold, but when you're already used to high 80s, low 90s for a couple months, 47 degrees in the morning is cold. Just saying. Okay, one last thing. I really need to get my act together and get my sewing machine out, because I joined the Fat Quarter Shop's Designer Mystery for 2023, and the first block came out. So this is the first block, little kit to make the first block, so I need to do that. And I also got the backing set. So the, oh, and there's an exclusive Designer Mystery quilt label in there too. The fabric, I think, is, Sunnyside. Sunnyside by Camille Ross Kelly, for those of you that are quilters. So I think that's it. As I mentioned, I was away. We were away for almost 12 days. It was nice to actually get to be someplace cooler, and to spend some time with family, as well as attend my reunion. My knees are still a bit sore because the last night of the reunion there was a band, and someone may have danced to every song except the first one. So my arthritic knees are very sore. We were able to get some bird watching in, a little bit of walking, breakfast on the beach on Lake Erie. Let's see what else. So that was fun. Got to a AA baseball game, the Erie Seawolves. That was fun. Visited our favorite ice cream place, and just did some things we like to do when we're visiting my spouse's family. So anyway, I think that's going to be it for this one. Just a little over an hour. I do like to talk, don't I? But again, as always, thanks for spending time with me. I know there's lots of different floss tubes out there you could be watching. In fact, lately I haven't been watching very many because I just feel overwhelmed by everything that's out there. Um, and so I appreciate you taking the time to spend with me. I hope you enjoyed seeing what I'm working on and what I'm thinking about for July. So hopefully I'll be able to keep this up once a month on the third Thursday. Yeah, so hope to see you here again in a month, approximately. And please remember to take time to be kind to yourself and be kind to your neighbor. Bye.